When your families have get-togethers, are you the one that they ask to bring paper products or maybe drinks or a jar of pickles or something like that? Maybe you want to contribute a different way. I'm going to show you how you can do that and wow everybody. Greetings everyone, we are in the kitchen today and I want to talk to you a little bit about bread service. You go to any restaurant, well most restaurants actually, the first thing they do is bring you some water and some bread. Now, what goes along with that bread? Could be anything. Could be a butter, could be dipping oil. I want to show you a dipping oil that you can make at home. It's very easy, that I would consider a game changer. It's going to take you from that basic bread and butter that you may be putting on your table now, taking it to the next level. All it is a dipping oil for bread, but it is so good, everyone is gonna love it, and I guarantee you they're gonna want the recipe, and you can send them to my channel. And speaking of my channel, please be sure to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, I really appreciate that. If you do try this recipe, drop me a comment below, let me know how it tastes. I wanna know what you think. Now that all that stuff's out of the way, let's get to work. Okay, let's talk about the ingredients. You're going to need a cup of olive oil. You want regular olive oil, not extra virgin olive oil. You're also going to need 2 large cloves of garlic. I always prefer fresh. You can, in a pinch, use the minced garlic out of a jar, but go with the fresh. If you're preparing this in front of anybody, really makes an impression if you're mincing the fresh garlic and also the peppers. Speaking of peppers, you're gonna need a jar of the sweet peppers. We're also gonna use a little bit of the brine in here. And then finally, some salt that we're just gonna add to it. And then most importantly, don't forget the bread. I would recommend going to the bakery section of your grocery store, stepping up your bread game a little bit, get a baguette, something a little more fancy, just to make that presentation that much better. To me, it's all about presentation. And those are all your ingredients that you need to make this simple dipping oil. Let's go ahead and get preparing it. The first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and mince this garlic. I'll show you how to do that. The first thing you notice is that I've got 2 cutting boards. And the reason for that is when you bust open this bulb of garlic, it gets a lot of the outer skin and stuff, and it just gets everywhere, and it's very light, and when you try to scrape it off, it just starts flying all over the place. So I try to just contain that on one of the cutting boards and then actually cut it on a different one. You don't want to get that outer skin in what you're trying to prepare, so I just try to keep that separate. So what you want to do to separate the cloves from the bulb is just go ahead and take the bulb and put it this root side down, and then go ahead and with the heel of your hand, just put some pressure on there and just kind of lean into it, and you'll hear it kind of pop and crack open. Okay, once that does, you can go ahead and start to separate, and you can see the cloves of garlic as they come out. And we're just going to take 2. Of them here. Now you need to get the clove out of the outer skin here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife, rest it on top, make sure that you stay safe. Remember, that's a sharp blade, but I'm just going to rest that wide part of the knife and then just kind of give it a good love tap. And you'll hear it pop, and you can see that it breaks apart that outer skin. Okay, go ahead and remove all of that skin and put your fresh clove on your clean cutting board. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. Again, you want to go ahead and take the knife, set it on the clove, and just give it a nice, gentle love tap. And that skin just peels away. All right, I've separated the cloves from their outer skin. I want to move all of this out of the way and then start mincing this garlic up. So here's my fresh clove of garlic. I'm going to show you how to mince that. There's 2 sides to it here. I want to point out there's the root side here and then the not root side. So we want to make sure that we don't cut into this root side. Just kind of leave that intact. This will hold everything together as we make the cuts. So what I like to do is go ahead and cut that other end off just slightly, right, and get that out of the way. I'm going to take the clove and I'm going to cut strips along the clove without going into that root, like this. Now I've seen some people go ahead and slice it up the middle, and you can do that. And then from there, I'm just going to kind of push down on it, make sure, please be safe, don't cut yourself, and then just make small little cuts with the knife. Okay, go as far as you can. You can see there's the root side. I'm just going to go ahead and remove that and get that out of the way. And there you have some minced garlic. If you want something a little more finer, which I do, I will just take this, my knife, and put it in kind of a pile and just go over it again. And one more time. Garlic can be a little sticky. Make sure you get it all off your knife. And that's how I mince up a garlic clove. Let me go ahead and do the other one and get that ready to go. The next thing we need to prepare, the 2 cherry peppers. Let's go ahead and get those out of the jar and onto our cutting board. If you look in the jar, sometimes these peppers can be different shades of color. I like to do 2 different colors if I can, just to add some flair to what I'm making. Okay, so here we are with the cherry peppers. Now, in my opinion, there's really no right or wrong way to do this. These are not your traditional bell peppers that are firm. They have been soaking in that brine and are very soft. What I'm going to try to do is very similar to what I did with the garlic. Just go ahead and cut them long ways, leaving that stem intact. Just kind of go right down the middle. Now you can see inside there is a ton of seeds. We do not want those seeds in our dipping oil. So we're just going to kind of pry that mess out, and it pulls right out just like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut long ways and make strips, skin side down. Remember to be careful, don't cut yourself. And you can see now I've got strips, and I want to go ahead and now remove the stem part that kept it all together. Don't want that in there either. Takes care of that. One little seed there. Let me get that guy out of here. And there's your sliced cherry pepper. I'm going to go ahead and move that into another bowl. And do the rest of them. Okay, there I finished up the other pepper. I'm going to go ahead and add that to the bowl. You can see the color variation in my sweet peppers. It really looks nice. Okay, here's all my ingredients. I got my garlic, my peppers, and my salt, and oops, forgot the olive oil. Get your measuring cup. 1 cup of olive oil. I guess I could pour that right into here. That way I don't have to clean that dish. And now I'm just going to go ahead and combine all of these ingredients into the oil. Start with the garlic and the peppers. Go ahead and add just a spoonful or 2 of the brine here from the peppers. And then to finish off, just a little bit of salt, maybe a ½ teaspoon or so. I'm going to go ahead and blend those a little bit, slowly, don't splash it around. Now put a cover on this and just let this sit. You can leave it sit on the counter for about an hour or so, 2 hours, and then it'll be ready to serve. Now let's talk about the bread. Okay, remember, step up your bread game. Here I have a baguette, as you can see here. And when you slice this, don't do your traditional straight cut, right? Do it at an angle. Add some presentation to even your bread cutting. It really is going to make that much of a difference. All right, while that's sitting on the counter, getting all good and delicious and everything, getting ready for my guests that are gonna come over this evening for dinner, I wanna give you your bonus tips. You know, I like to do that towards the end of every video. Tip number 1, if you like a little spice to your dipping oil, or you try it and you want a little something extra, put on a little heat, you can put a pinch or so of red pepper flakes in there, let all those flavors mold together, really add some heat to it. I think you'd enjoy that too. Tip number 2, I spoke earlier about presentation. To me, presentation is one of the most important things that you can do when you're preparing meals, drinks, anything. So let's talk about how to present this dipping oil. A lot of times you can put it in one bowl that everybody's dipping into, but to take it up a notch, you can have individual serving bowls for every member of your party or every guest that you're having over. They're designed to be placed in front of their setting. They look something like this. You can see sky's the limit with this stuff, right? You can get, you know, a white one, something fancy like that, or like this, something clear if you want to go that route. This one here is actually a set. There's about 4 bowls in here. They come out, look like that. Having things like this placed at the individual setting for your guests really will add a nice touch. Let's go on to tip number 3. Tip number 3, don't be afraid to try different things. If you want to change this up, go for it. If you like how it is, that's great too. However, if you want to try new things like roasting the peppers, roasting the garlic, adding more red pepper flakes, just changing it up, make this your own. You won't regret it. After about a half hour, I couldn't resist. I had to do a taste test and it needed a little something more, so I added a little bit more of the brine. You can do it any way you like. So now that about an hour has gone by, I'm gonna give this a good taste test. It's fantastic. You won't be disappointed, I promise. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm the Capable Gentleman, always showing you ways to go from dirty to dapper and to encourage you to never stop learning. Until next time, be kind, everyone. See you next week.